We're back in the iconic pit. Pre-game Lobos and Utah State, a huge Mountain West matchup. It is Retro Day as we honor Lobo past greats, and New Mexico's putting on some uniforms circa 1977-78. We're joined by Lobo head coach Richard Pitino. Coach Pitino, let's start there. That team under Coach Ellenberger with the likes of Marvin Automatic Johnson and Michael Cooper went 13-1 in the WAC. You have equaled that start. You can improve to 14-1 should you win today. There's only one better start in the history of conference play in all of Lobo basketball, a 12-0 back in the Border Conference, and that's going way back. This is a historic season, but there's a ton of basketball in front of you. But really cool to be in the same conversation with legends like those, isn't it?
Yeah, and I bet you the Border Conference stunk. I've never even heard of it, so it's probably not a good conference. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you try as a coach not to really think about those things. I want to reflect in 6-7 weeks. I don't want to reflect right now. So what we have right now is a phenomenal opportunity right in front of us, and we've got a lot of good ones. When you're playing meaningful games, middle of February, it means all these games are going to matter. So, very appreciative of our people to put together some really cool retro uniforms. They got some cool gear that they're selling as well. So, looking forward to it.
Everybody is, and Utah State is a team that you played just a couple of weeks back at their place and had a tremendous second half run to come from 9 down and win by 19. I'm sure you've gone back over that tape. You've gone back over it with your team. How much do you take away from that one? And what do you think that might be an adjustment or two that's made in this one?
Well, we'll both make adjustments. Just because we won doesn't mean that we'll stay the same. And they'll do something different as well. We played great at their place, hostile environment. I thought we were so locked in. Obviously second half we were phenomenal, but it's got to be the same. Although it's going to be a great home crowd, sold out, we can't focus on that. We got to focus on playing the right way every single possession. They're going to do what they do. They're playing great basketball right now. Ever since our game, blew out Colorado State last game. The zone is tricky, for sure. Our guys have got to adjust to whatever they do offensively, defensively. We guarded the three-point line extremely well last game, and we got to continue to do that this time around.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino with us pregame New Mexico and Utah State. New Mexico can secure its place atop the Mountain West Conference solo first with a victory here today. You mentioned how you guarded the three-point line at their place. I believe they only made 5 and took a ton of them. It looked like your offense improved significantly from the first half to the second when you scored 50-plus and ran away from them in the second half. What changed?
Nothing. For whatever reason, media members and people think there's this difference. It's a 40-minute game, and it's hard to pull away at the beginning. Teams get better as the game goes on, so nothing changed. The approach was the same. We just stayed the course.
You mentioned their matchup zone. It did look like you guys fared better against it in the second half. Just a matter of getting accustomed to it and seeing it and being comfortable against it?
Exactly right. They turned us over in the first half a little bit. You try to simulate it best you can, but that's a defense that they've implemented in the summer. And so they've been working on it 6-7 months. We had 2 or 3 days to do it. So I think they understand if you go in these spots, they're going to slap down, they're going to turn you over, whatever. But again, it's late February. Who knows what adjustments they make?
Lobo coach Richard Pitino with us pregame New Mexico and Utah State coming up in the pit. You mentioned how well you guarded them from 3. What about the defensive effort in Logan did you like the most?
Disruption. High hands on every catch. They shot a bunch of threes, and a lot of them were contested. Finishing the possession with the rebound was huge. Did a good job on Martinez. They missed a lot of free throws, which was weird, although we're the number 1 free throw defense in the country, whatever that means. But, just same old thing for us. It's disrupt, it's activity, it's deflections, it's challenging shots.
So Mustafa Amsil, limited minutes in your last contest against Wyoming. How does it look if he's not able to go for you today?
Yeah, he'll be a game time decision. He's really hobbled with that foot. rest is the only answer, and we're not in a position right now to give you a lot of rest. But I know he wants to play. He's working his butt off in rehab. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a day-to-day thing. You can't put a timeline on it. You just got to see. But, we want obviously the best for him to make sure he's pain-free. So we'll keep working at it.
Beneficial that a true freshman, Jovan Milicevic, got a chance to start a game previously at Air Force a couple of games ago, and he's been playing such meaningful minutes of late and being so productive that he's going to be ready if called upon?
Sure, but it's a little bit different, right? You're playing a huge game right now, and you're throwing a freshman into that moment, so that's always a little bit concerning as a head coach. So, he made a big 3 last game, but this is going to be ramped up, so you'd rather a fifth-year senior in there with Jovan from behind, but I think Jovan's playing really good basketball, shooting the ball very, very well, confident, so he's got to be ready. And then we got to figure out other things if Mustafa doesn't play.
And speaking of experience in key moments in big games or in key spots, Filip Borovichinen did not have his best game against Wyoming. C.J. Nolan really stepped up for you. You started him in the second half. He played terrific. He is that kind of experienced guy who will not shrink from a moment like you have here today in the pit.
Hope so. Can't predict the future, right? I mean, you want the bench to be ready to go. We added C.J., with that mentality of a veteran presence, and he's quietly playing really good basketball. Filip needs to get going a little bit offensively. He hasn't been shooting the ball well, but he's still doing other things very well, defense, rebounding, effort. But we need everybody. To beat a team like Utah State, who's terrific, we need everybody. And
speaking of Filip, continuing on Borovichinen, because perhaps not as many minutes from Mustafa Amsil today, he's played a little at the 4 each of the last couple of games. Could be there again today a little bit?
Yeah. This matchup, it's not bad because of the matchup zone. You want to have 4 guys out there who can make a shot. So some games like Wyoming, it was not ideal because they played 2 bigs. Where this one, it could work.
Final thoughts. Obviously such a critical game, and you guys can really take control of the conference if you win here. Utah State knows, having lost on their home floor, if they want to win a regular season championship, there's desperation on their side. The emotion and the intensity of this game, it's ramped up an even higher level, isn't it?
Not really. Honestly, they're all important right now. I mean, we've had a stretch now. We're on a 7-game winning streak. We're 21-4. We're fighting for a championship. We're fighting for an NCAA tournament bid. So I can promise you they're all important. The intensity's been there really from the start since we responded from that New Mexico State game. So what it is it's no bigger than any other game. You can look at the nets. You could you lose to Air Force at home, and no disrespect to Air Force, their net's really low. It kills you in a different way. So I don't look at it like that. I look at it as an amazing opportunity, but I do know this: if we win the game, nobody's going to hand us a trophy. Nobody's going to give us a T-shirt, and we're not going to cut down nets. Season's not over yet. We've got 6 games left. We've got this one in front of us.
Coach, best of luck against the Aggies.
Thank you.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino, our guest pregame. We're back after this timeout. It's Lobo Basketball on UNM Sports Radio Network.
It's the Lobo Basketball postgame show brought to you by Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Winning entertainment, including simulcast racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. That's the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Final score in the famous pit. Lobos 82, Utah State 79. New Mexico sweeps the Aggies and takes firm control of first place in the Mountain West Conference. The Lobos, with this victory, improved to 22-4 overall. They are now 14-1 in league play. Utah State, with the loss, they dropped to 22-4 and 12-3 in the Mountain West Conference. Welcome back in, my broadcast partner, Lobo all-time great Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Hunter, a fantastic finish. Neither team blinked even for a moment. It went right down to the final possession, and UNM comes out on top. Unbelievable performance by both teams, in my opinion. In a hostile environment, Utah State was fantastic, and the Lobos with every opportunity in front of them, and as big as a 5.5 point favorite here in their building over Utah State earlier this week. They handled all the pressure with aplomb. terrific effort on both sides and just a fantastic college basketball game.
Oh, I mean, when you look at the stat sheet, you think Utah State wins this game. I mean, they beat them in almost every category except for rebounds, of course. But, I mean, New Mexico, how poised were they? I thought Coach talked about it in pregame. Stay the course. You got to stay the course. And I thought that was the key to this game for New Mexico was they stayed the course even when they trailed in the second half. And then all of a sudden, True Washington just, wow, the disruptor, right? Gets steals, layups, and then he finds his teammates, a part of his game that I've really seen him really grow, especially in conference play, where he's not always looking to score. He's maybe setting the table for his teammates, and he did that a couple of times here today.
What does this win mean for the University of New Mexico? Well, it means quite a lot, actually. With this W, New Mexico is the first team to clinch a bye in the Mountain West tournament. They have much bigger goals in front of them with 5 games left on the regular season schedule. They want to win a Mountain West regular season championship, and they want to do that for the first time since the 2012-2013 season. It's been a dozen years since they've won a regular season title. The Lobos also have improved to 14-1. No Lobo team ever through 15 games, 14-1 in a conference schedule, ever. So this was unprecedented territory for UNM. And they become just the third team in the Mountain West ever to begin 14-1. San Diego State did it twice. They went 15-0 once, and they went 14-1 once. 1920 and 15-16 were the 2 years, respectively. UNM has an 8-game conference winning streak for the first time in 15 years, and this 22-4 start, it's been 12 years since the Lobos overall were 22-4. The last one was that same team to win the last regular season title, the 12-13 team. Alford's last team, they started 26-4 before that regular season ending loss to Air Force at the end of conference play. So this team has already put itself in the record books, Hunter. They are one of the best, at least to this point in the year, in Lobo history. Now they've got 5 games left to close the deal and win that regular season title.
And I think Coach is telling them, and this is part of how I think, they've taken on the coach's personality. They haven't cut down nets. They haven't won anything yet. Still have 5 more games. Stay the course, right? Don't get too high, don't get too low. And I think that's been kind of the theme throughout the season for this Lobo team. And, I mean, sky's the limit, really, to be honest with you.
Lobos are now 6-0 against the 4 best Mountain West opponents. That's Utah State, CSU, San Diego State, and Boise State. They've swept CSU and Utah State. They have games left at SDSU and Boise State. The Lobos have been absolutely phenomenal against the best in the conference, now 6-0. We'll take a timeout here post-game. We come back on the other side. We look to hear from Lobo head coach Richard Pitino and a New Mexico star of the game. The Lobos win it. Final score, New Mexico 82, Utah State 79 on UNM Sports Radio Network. Welcome back courtside in the fabulous pit post-game. It's the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino, winning entertainment including horse racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. The Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Lobos 82, Utah State 79. Final 8 consecutive conference wins for New Mexico. Just 1 loss against 14 victories overall, and now clear of the field by a minimum of 2 games in Mountain West play. We're joined courtside postgame by Lobo head coach Richard Pitino. Coach Pitino, congratulations. Let me start here quickly first. How is C.J. Nolan doing?
Yeah, he had concussion-like symptoms, so held him out. He wasn't feeling great. He said he's feeling better now, but Grant, our trainer, was on it from day one. So, disappointing that we had to go without Mustafa and without C.J., 2 key pieces, but other guys stepped up. So hopefully gets a little rest, gets out of the noise and the light, and feels a little bit better.
What was the key in the second half from where you sit?
True Washington was amazing. Shot 63% in the second half versus that zone. Found a way to rebound the basketball, +7. Turned them over 14 times.
Coach, you talked about it in pregame. Stay the course. And I think that's kind of been the motto this year so far, is that when the Lobos are down in the second half, you figure out ways to turn it around and to be victorious and win the game.
Yeah, I thought Nelly in the second half did a lot of good things. Phillips settled in, started making free throws. So proud of him because mentally he was a little out of it the first half. But, Armand, what I always tell them is the race is not over. The race is not over. And just calm down. We got plenty of time. Yeah. We went down 10, I think, in the second half, and just made a big, big comeback at the end.
That is Utah State's first loss this season when they've had a double-digit lead in a game. They're now 15-1. You guys did something nobody else could do, and it was just a fabulous performance. So let's think back briefly to Wednesday. A big shot with maybe 4-ish minutes to go from Milicevic from three to put you up, and then he hit the big late three as well. That was kind of the final dagger. Today, it was True Washington. These guys, you're getting contributions beyond Dent and Nelly that are so meaningful, Coach.
Yeah, and CJ had been playing well. Obviously, for him to only play 6 minutes was hard, but we needed somebody else to step up. I really believe that Nelly and Donovan are two of the best 1-2 punches in the country, but 3, 4, and 5 are really starting to get better. Jovan, although did not score a lot, came in and had 7 rebounds. I thought he really battled his butt off down the stretch.
Coach, talk a little bit about the strategy against that zone. I thought the zone kind of gave you guys fits. You couldn't score. You couldn't get downhill. And then, of course, Washington starts to go downhill, and he starts knocking down.
Donovan was a little tired. Shocking. He played 40 minutes, didn't come out of the game, where we got the ball out of Donovan's hands because they were really converging on him. And I thought True was getting into the pocket a little bit better, getting guys onto his hip, and was really, really confident in it. So it was big. It was a big game adjustment to just get Donnie off the ball a little bit and let True go to work.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the last inbounds play because you did a fabulous job of opening up some court space for Donovan to dribble out some clock because there were 4 seconds still left in the game.
Yeah, it's funny. I watched the UConn game yesterday, and they had so many guys up there. And we talked at the timeout, like, we got to get those big guys out of there. We let True cut because they were committing 2 to Donnie. I actually told Donnie, like, don't assume they're going to foul him. If you can catch it, dribble it out, and get some time. I thought he actually could have done it, and time would have totally ran out. But it was good that it went from 4 to about 1 point something, and then obviously Donnie made 2 big free throws.
You had their front court in foul trouble today from the jump. All of their bigs were struggling to guard you guys. How were you able to do that? It didn't matter. Starters, they went to their bullpen. They went deep into their bench, and all the bigs were struggling to guard you guys down low.
Yeah, we did a really good job, obviously, in the first half, getting them in foul trouble, but we made 27 points. They're physical. They don't mind beating you up. Nelly did a great job of drawing some fouls. I think he drew, 8 fouls, which is great. True drew 5 fouls. So, I mean, they're a very good, physical, tough team. We needed to match that, and I thought we did.
And I thought they matched your physicality from February 1st because every time they caught the ball, they would try to create their space. And we saw that a couple of times where I think it was Martinez would throw an elbow right into the chest of Dent.
Yeah, and they don't mind physicality, and I think we're very physical as well. So it was, we battled our butts off, and obviously crowd phenomenal. To sweep a team like Utah State is terrific, and to get a two-win lead, which is huge.
Fabulous win, Coach. Congratulations. What a day here in the pit in front of a sold-out venue with 50 Lobo greats on hand, feted here at halftime, wearing those uniforms, celebrating that 77-78 team. About as good as it gets here in the pit.
Yep. Very excited about it. We'll move on. We'll celebrate tonight. We'll move on tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino here joining us courtside postgame in the pit. Lobos 82, Utah State 79 is the final. What a victory for New Mexico as they take down Utah State twice during the regular season this year.
Yeah, and I thought, there were some key plays in the second half, and a lot of them were Washington being able to penetrate that defense. That zone defense was tough. It was very difficult for Dent to get in there, and he's usually good at slashing and getting inside the defense, right? The zone setup, and wow. And, of course, when you're knocking down jump shots against the zone, that really helps you.
We're joined by Lobo power forward Jovan Milicevic. Second career start for Jovan here tonight. Congratulations, Jovan. What a massive win for your team in front of a sold-out pit. What was the feeling like for you out there tonight?
I just want to say I appreciate all the fans that came out here tonight. Sold-out pit. You know, it's amazing playing in the pit when it's sold out. The fans are amazing, and they just give us adrenaline and hype us up to play as hard as we can.
Well, you've had some big moments out there, and watching you grab one huge rebound, you know, kind of talk a little bit about the physicality. Were they playing you guys real physical, the bigs inside?
For sure. Coach Patino said that since Stops out, we're missing a little bit of the rebounding part, so he said come in here and just crash the glass. So I feel like I did a good job crashing the glass. They're a physical team. Utah State's a physical team, got some big guys, but thankfully we got the win.
You guys up front, you know, we talked about Nelly with Coach, the number of fouls that he drew here, but it wasn't just Nelly. You guys as a group, collectively, the bigs, you were tough for them to handle, and you got their entire front court in foul trouble in the first half. How did you guys do that?
Just playing physical. That's the main thing, being in our positions. Nelly sealing in the paint, that caused a lot of those fouls. Donnie and True being aggressive on the wings, trying to attack, that caused a lot of fouls as well. So
I thought you did a great job of finding a way to contribute today without making your three-point shots. And this was a tough day for you from the arc.
Yeah.
But you know, the offensive rebounding, was that something Coach focused on coming into this game?
Just rebounding, yeah. That's all he was really talking about, especially them playing in that zone. It allows guys to go in there and crash, so it'll benefit us in a positive way.
That's a great thing I'd like to follow up on. It feels like there's a feeling out process for you offensively against that zone. We kind of saw it in the first half in Logan a couple of weeks ago, and the same thing in the first half here today. And then you guys are down double digits in the second half, and you figure it out a little bit. I asked Coach, was there anything different in the second half 2 weeks ago in Logan? He said, no, just stay the course. Did you feel like you guys, found some things in the second half that you couldn't quite, find in the first half here today?
I'll just say the main thing for us was the fatigue part. I feel like we didn't get tired here, obviously being with the guys and all that. I feel like maybe they might have slowed down a little bit, and we just kept the pace rolling, so that helped us a lot.
Yeah, and I thought you guys were patient, especially in the second half, trying to figure out how to score against that zone. But Washington and Dent, do what they do, and they slash in there. And, of course, you guys able to knock down some threes. That kind of opened things up.
Yeah, Donnie and True being really aggressive out those ball screens helped, so shout out to them.
Congratulations. This was a lot of fun today, and you guys are in control of the Mountain West now, 2 games clear of everybody else. Kind of all the goals are sitting out there in front of you. Give me a big picture thought. Is this kind of what you imagined it could be coming to play for the University of New Mexico?
100%. 100%. After last year's team, seeing the way Coach puts that positivity and confidence in his guys, and the recruiting class this year was amazing. Freshmen from the transfer portal, we all came in here and we just all bought into the same goal, which is winning. Before every game, Coach puts Mountain West champs on the board, so that's all we're going for.
What a day. Way to go, Jovan. Thanks a lot.
Lobos.
Good job, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Jovan Milicevic. New Mexico sweeps Utah State. $82-79 is the final score here post-game. We're courtside in a fabulous pit. And, one of the things that New Mexico has done this season, Hunter, and if they're going to get another opportunity, they still have to go to Boise State. We've talked about this team being the streak buster, right? They've been able to end road losing streaks against really good teams, and they've done it in multiple locations this year. They did it at Fresno State. They ended an extended losing streak at Fresno State. They ended an extended losing streak at Utah State. They ended an extended losing streak at Colorado State. And the extended losing streak at UNLV went by the wayside. So those streaks were CSU 6, Fresno 8, UNLV 6, Utah State 7, and the one that they could end in Boise coming up later in this regular season is 6. Well, guess what? They sweep Utah State in the regular season. Utah State, for the first time since 2013-2014. So it has been 11 years since New Mexico pulled off a season series sweep of the Utah State Aggies. This has been an excellent program, Utah State, for a really long time. And among the current Mountain West foes, this is the one where the Lobos have struggled the most all time. UNM, with this win, is 15-34 against Utah State. They are a 500 team, the Lobos are, at home against the Aggies, 11-11. 7-4 now in the pit. So maybe a little better against the Aggies in this new Mountain West. Remember, Utah State has only been in the Mountain West for a short time. But the Aggies, now think about this. 4 head coaches, if you include their current one, Calhoun, right? This is his first year. The combination of Smith, then Odom, then Sprinkle, now Calhoun. That spans a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, including this. They have a 740 win percentage under those 4 head coaches. A fantastic program. And UNM does something it hadn't done in 11 years, and that's beat them twice in the same season.
Very difficult to do. To beat any team twice in the same season, especially a team like Utah State.
It takes an elite team.
Yes.
And the last Lobo team to do it was the 2013-2014 team, which was the last team to win a conference tournament
2012,
title.
2013.
Well, actually, the 2013-14 team is the one that swept Utah State last. And they're the last team to win a tournament championship for the Lobos. The 2013-14 team. It had been a decade since the last tournament title when the Lobos won it last year in March. But, yeah, Jan 28, 2014, that team, Coach Neal's first team, beat Utah State 78-65, and they completed the sweep with a 67-58 win Feb 25 of that same year, 2014. So it's just an amazing run that the Lobos are on right now. 8 consecutive Mountain West wins, and now you really feel like, yes, you have some tough road games still left ahead of you. San Diego State, Boise State come to mind very quickly, but you control your destiny, and this was one of the toughest chips that you needed to stack over the last 6. Now there are only 5 to go.
Yeah, no question. You got to win your games at home, and then you look up, and like you say, you're going to 2 tough environments. You're going to Boise and then San Diego State.
Let's not forget a trip to Reno.
That's right. Forgot about that.
Yep.
That is the
rivalry game.
Second to the last game. Yeah,
Yes,
the 4th.
yep.
So yeah, there's some tough games ahead.
Yep.
But this team right now took care of business, winning at home.
New Mexico Aging Services, your one-stop shop for connection, resources, and advocacy. Visit aging.nm.gov to learn more today. Bob Walpole, producer and engineer, on-site engineer, Michael Carlisle, broadcast partner, Lobo legend, Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Before we close, you got a chance to be with 50 of your closest friends out there at halftime during the ceremony with all the Lobo alumni that could make it here to the pit today. How cool was that?
Oh, it's really cool. I mean, I tell you what, I like seeing my teammates, but I like seeing the guys prior to me. I like the guys in the 70s, right? Pokorski. I mean, guys that are still around. They've contributed to this community, and it's just a fun thing when guys can get together that have been through the battles and have played and experienced the pit and the fans in this community.
Boise State coming up on Wednesday this week. That's the 19th. New Mexico and the Broncos with an 8 p.m. Mountain Time tip. Airtime 7:30 p.m. Lobo basketball pregame show. Lobos live with Kenny Thomas and host Brandon Ortega is next, ranked here on our flagship here in the Duke City 96.3 News Radio KKOB. This was really fun, huh?
Yeah. No question. There was a little part of the second half that got us a little nervous, but like you say, the Lobos stayed the course and got it done.
The symmetry, and I got to say this, the symmetry of being down at a timeout, the same exact score that you were down in Logan 2 weeks ago, 48-39, with about 3 more minutes on the clock here than you had 2 weeks ago at the Spectrum, and you come back and beat them again. That's something against a really good basketball team.
But what's scary is when you look at the stat sheet, all the stats, I mean, from turnovers, points off turnovers, points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, bench points. Utah State Aggies they won in every category, but they didn't win the game. That's just a testament to Coach and his staff keeping the guys focused and playing through adversity and coming up with a win.
All right, that'll do it for us for today from the fabulous pit. Your final score for the final time. New Mexico sits atop the Mountain West Conference. They continue their roll. 8 consecutive victories all in league. New Mexico is now 22-4 in conference play. And for the first time ever in any league in their history, they are 14-1 in conference action. Final score for the final time. The Lobos 82, Utah State 79. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.
But we're going to get to Coach Dave right now, who's been waiting.
Yeah, Coach Dave Filipovich. Coach, I'm going to press the button here. Man, a special day, a special game for a special team you guys have. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to hear from you.
No, thank you, guys. What a game, right? What a game. What resolved by our team in the second half to come back. We got down 10. They score first and out of the half, and their biggest lead obviously was a 10 in 19 minutes, and then we start defending and getting the 50-50 balls we didn't get in the first half that led to threes for them.
Yeah,
we didn't get some long rebounds that they got in the first half, and and I think a lot of that was ignited by True Washington.
Yep.
He was really good today.
Hey, Coach, explain. Have you been in the pit on the Lobos side and actually experienced the way the pit was? Because I'm going to tell you, it felt like the pit actually felt like when I was playing back in the day.
It is, doing this for a few years. I've been everywhere from Pauley Pavilion to Madison Square Garden to Rupp. This is one of the best places there is to play. And these fans are unbelievable. You played here, had some great teams, had a great career, played ranked games in the pit. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a top 5 venue and fan base in the country. I don't care what you talk about. I don't care what conference, where you're at. This is special.
Legendary Dave Filipovich on the line with us right now on Lobos Live with Kenny Thomas. Coach, you mentioned True Washington, 25 points to lead the way, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 assists. Is this the most confident you've seen True on the floor from beginning to end?
Oh, no, you should see him in practice.
During a game. How about during a game?
No, in the game. I was just joking there. He is he's a confident player. I kid with him. I think bigger the game, the bigger he is. He's played some big games throughout his scholastic career, and he loves being here and playing. And the 3 that he took to put us up 4, I mean, that's the biggest shot. As Kenny would say, I mean, he's probably played with a lot of guys he won't mention by name that won't take that shot.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and not only did he take it, he nailed it, and he's been really good. And I think I'm always biased to him. I think he's the best defensive player in the conference.
Oh, I totally agree. The way that True is coming out and playing on both ends. And it's starting on the defensive end, which he knows he has to be that cornerstone, especially being a starter. He has to come out and impact the game and affect the backcourt. So, Coach, I got a question for you, man. Obviously, you're up 2 games now, I think, to Utah State, leading the conference. What is the mindset right now of your squad trying to finish out the season? Are guys getting? I know guys are not getting ahead of themselves. Trust me, you still got 5 more games. So what's the mental mindset right now?
Coach has preached that, and he's done a great job all season. It's win the next practice, which will be Monday, tomorrow, and then win the next game. Don't worry about what people are saying or where you're at in the rankings and the standings in the conference and everything. If you just keep winning, things will take care of itself. Come back prepared. Enjoy this for the evening. Tomorrow we're back to prepping for Boise. It's a great road game. They go play on Wednesday, but let's just win the next game.
Man, I appreciate you coming in. I'm sorry. Say that last thing. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Just keep improving and keep winning the next game.
Man, hey, let me tell you something. I know that felt good winning down in Air Force, especially with you.
That was good. That was good.
I know we talk about it in the gym, man, so I don't want to keep you. Okay. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon, man.